Now, meanwhile, in Gauteng, police say 3 cases of murder were reported this week in Westbury and Sophiatown. Residents say the number is much higher. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan joins us from Sophiatown following concerns of violence erupting in the area this week due to gang infighting. Karinda, good to speak to you this afternoon. We're coming out of Durban where the scenes that were described by a distraught mother were absolutely graphic. You find yourself in a similar situation where some individuals have lost their lives.
Certainly, as my colleague spoke to one mother here in Westbury and Sophiatown, we've also spoken to mothers who in tears told us about the unfolding violence in this region of Johannesburg. 2 mothers who spoke anonymously, their sons were shot on separate occasions early this year. In one case, the son, an older man, had been outspoken about violence around his area and was shot multiple times outside his house. Fortunately, he survived, he's recovering, but he, of course, is concerned that the perpetrators are still large. In the second case, it was a teenage boy who had witnessed a murder in his area as well. He was shot allegedly by a 14-year-old gang member. He has survived and is recovering in hospital, but it'll be a long way because of his injuries to his face. Going forward, both mothers spoke about the ongoing violence in this area. That's not happening now, it's historic. But why we're here today is because of reports online that violence would erupt. We spoke to community activists this morning about why these reports came via a community Facebook group linked allegedly to one gang, the Fast Guns gang. Now here, Hugo, in this area, there are many criminal elements lurking, but residents and activists say there are 2 main gangs, the Fast Guns and Varados. Some of the Varados signs are actually in this building next to me. It's a V and a C or a 6 below. Now, early this year, in fact in November, the alleged leader of the Varados gang, Leroy Finch Brown, was killed in Roodepoort. While in February, the alleged leader of the Fast Guns gang, Keenan Abraham, was killed in Florida. Community activists told us earlier today that the death of these 2 alleged gang leaders of opposite sides have now created a vacuum within those gangs. As a result, there are now intra-gang violence where there's a space for leadership, and sadly, tragically, young gang members are now looking to get that apparent or alleged top position. And right now, what mothers have told us especially is that it's young kids being involved. When it comes to the death statistics, Gauteng police yesterday released a statement about that social media post saying that they should not ultimately be panicked. They say that they have deployed more police officers on the ground essentially over the years because of their anti-gang operations. But they say this year, despite reports from residents that 13 people were killed this week, only 3 were reported, only 3 murders were reported. But the mothers wrote down a list of the murders that happened from the 3rd of June. On 3rd June, 1 person was shot dead. On 15th June, another person shot dead. On the 16th June, Youth Day, 4 people were shot dead, including 2 young boys. On the 20th of June, 2 people were shot dead. And on the 19th of June, just last week, another was shot. 1 person survived from this list here, and that is really for the past month. So they say that the numbers are much higher. And while police were just next to the police station have told us that they are on the ground between March and June, they've arrested 106 people relating to various offences considered to be gang-related. This includes having firearms and the possession of drugs, among other crimes. Residents claim that some officers are working hand in hand with police. Of course, police have been responding to this in terms of their internal investigations. But what we've seen, especially speaking to an older woman, a grandmother, earlier today, she said that this has been historic. At one point, it wasn't like this, and she can't actually link as to when this started, really. But what she does say is that there needs to be more national intervention here, not just with police, but she says it's also a social development priority. unemployment or the lack of spaces for youth, because just behind our camera there's a number of young boys keen to see what this report is about. But on a Sunday they might not have anywhere else to go. And so just yesterday we spoke to another activist who said that children need a sense of belonging, and in cases like Westbury or Sophiatown where there's no place to go, they then go to a gang, and that is how this is formed. So that is what activists have told us, this is what mothers have told us, and I'll bring you that full report tonight. But right now, residents say that they believe that they're still going to hear the ringing of gunshots for the rest of the week.
Karinda, Jagmohan, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for that update. In fact, it's going to pave way for a conversation that I'm having a little bit later on the show with Action SA's Athol Trollip, as we talk about the possible new police minister and certainly the amount of work that he or she will have to do over the next few years to quell some of these challenges. Thanks for your time, Karinda.